So Donald Trump said that he was going to drain the swamp. That turns out to be pretty funny because it looks like he brought the swamp with him to Washington, D.C. Now, I'm not just saying that as empty rhetoric. I'm going to prove it to you. So let's take a look at some of the people that he's put in his administration and find out why he might have done that. So let's look at Steve Mnuchin, who is a Treasury Secretary. Well, not only was he his finance chair and in charge of getting all the money to Trump's campaign, he personally also put in $425,000 and over $200,000 to the RNC as well. Now, some of this is in the form of direct donations to Trump. Others are to his PACs. So Steve Mnuchin just shoveled his own personal money and everybody else's money, because he was the campaign finance chair, to Donald Trump. And look at that, he gets one of the most important positions. In his context, the most important position, Treasury Secretary. So you give legalized bribes to Donald Trump, you get something in return. In fact, you get something amazing in return. Treasury Secretary, where you can affect the economy to your advantage, to your company's advantage, to Donald Trump's advantage, and to all of you crony capitalists, corrupt swamp dwellers' advantage. Now, if you say, hey, look, Cenk, that's one guy in his cabinet, but he's probably draining the swamp elsewhere. It was just that guy was super qualified. Okay, so if you think running Soros's fund and being at Goldman Sachs for 17 years and all the things that Mnuchin did qualified him and you're a Republican, great. All right, I'm glad to know that you like Wall Street, you like them controlling our economy, and you like global financial interests, and you like George Soros. That's great. I'm happy to hear that, okay? So if he's the exception, then I'm wrong. Let's look at the rest of the administration, find out. Betsy DeVos, Secretary of Department of Education, okay? So Secretary of Education, $2.7 million to the Republican Party, its candidates, and PACs. Oh, look at that. Well, she had to pay a little bit more than the Treasury Secretary to get her job, but nice job bribing the Republican Party. You also get a cabinet position. Okay, let's go to Secretary of Commerce, Wilbur Ross. $5,400 to the Trump campaign, $139,000 to the RNC, and then his company, $5,400 to the Trump campaign, that's W.L. Ross and Company, and then $336,000 to the RNC, also on behalf of W.L. Ross and Company. So, that seems like this. The Treasury Secretary, the Education Secretary, and the Commerce Secretary all bribed their way into Trump's cabinet. Now, if you say, hey, man, in the past, Democrats have also taken big donors and given them government jobs, I agree with you, and I can't stand that. Don't let the Democrats off the hook for 1 second. And yes, there are people in President Obama's cabinet right now that have given him huge amounts of money, that have given the Democrats huge amounts of money. This corruption is sickening. But Trump ran against that corruption. A lot of you voted based on that. You thought he was going to drain the swamp. You chanted drain the swamp. This is the swamp. I'm not even done yet. So what's the latest two announcements? Andrew Pudzer is the Labor Secretary. Now, before I show you his contributions, so yeah, a lot of people are pointing out that this guy, like the head of the EPA that was just appointed, Scott Pruitt, hates the EPA, has literally sued the EPA over and over again, can't wait to destroy the EPA, so they put him in charge of the EPA. So now the Labor Secretary in this case can't stand labor, against the $15 minimum wage, against almost every labor movement. He's the CEO of the company that owns Carl's Jr., Hardee's, et cetera, and is against the unions. So you find a guy who's totally and completely and historically against labor, and you make him the Secretary of Labor. But if you're a conservative, you might like that. You might hate labor. You might think, oh, people having jobs in this country, and then those people with jobs being empowered. No. Their boss should be in charge. And those laborers, you guys, the American workers should know your role and bow your heads to the CEOs. Okay, maybe you think that and you think that's your conservative ideology. Okay, have at it, Hoss. But I know that you're against corruption. So did Pudzer give money to Trump? Probably not. Turns out, yeah. Of course he did. $150,000 to the Trump campaign. So you want to destroy labor and you bribe me to the tune of $150,000? Welcome to Trump's cabinet and administration. Come on in. Now, also today, the Small Business Administration has a new head, Linda McMahon. So Linda McMahon is part of the couple that runs WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment. They have a long history with Donald Trump. Donald Trump's gone on their shows. He had a match against Vince McMahon. He's in the Wrestling Hall of Fame. That's funny. Before, when he was just a reality show clown, I kind of liked it. I liked when he went on wrestling. I liked when he shaved Vince McMahon's head. Everybody was having fun. I didn't think the guy was going to be president of the United States, but no. Of course it doesn't end there. Linda McMahon was one of the first supporters of Donald Trump. Do you know how much she gave Trump? $6 million to a super PAC. $6 million. You know what this is? The swamp. So I'm going to ask you to do something about it. I want you to go to tytnetwork.com/petition. And we've got a petition up there to say, hey, you know what? Stop appointing your donors to your cabinet and to your administration. It's a very simple request. Now, if you're skeptical that Donald Trump is going to listen to the American people, I hear you, brother. He ran on draining the swamp, and then he's doing this. So of course he's not going to listen to you, right? But if you have enough people sign that petition, you know what it does? It gets into the news. And then other people talk about it. Now, you watch the Young Turks, you know it already, right? But a lot of people that watch cable news, they're not telling them this. They're talking about, oh, I don't like this position, or oh, he's heinous for this reason, or look at that tweet, or whatever. But they don't talk about the systemic corruption. But if there's 1 million people who sign the petition, including Republicans who say, no, for God's sake, stop putting your donors in your cabinet. This isn't an auction. The White House is not for sale. Then maybe that gets their attention a little bit, and then they go, oh, wow, right, almost everyone in his cabinet is a donor. Interesting. And you could make that happen. You can grab their attention. Let's do it now. tytnetwork.com/petition, okay? Look, we are going to keep on pointing this out, and we are never going to let up. So we are going to do petitions, we're going to do fundraising, we're going to do reporting, we're going to do everything we can to shine a light where it needs to be put, okay? So we're coming for them, and this stuff is real, and this is what Trump is all about, and you have the power to stop it. So let's work together, let's get this issue up. And by the way, just one last thing. When Trump goes on his weird rants against Boeing or against flag burning, you know why he does it? Because he saw it on cable news or he read it in the New York Times. So he's old. He doesn't watch online stuff. He watches the same shows he's been watching for 70 years. So if you get a petition with 1 million people signing it saying, hey, turns out Trump might be corrupt, all he does is put his donors in his administration, and it gets on to New York Times or CNN, you better believe Trump's going to tweet about it. It's going to grab his attention. And I hope it gets him at some point to go, oh, they're on to us. And then he can react, overreact, whatever it is. But put a spotlight on it. Let's do it together. The Young Turks isn't just us. It's also you guys. You make this show possible. And we want to thank you for it. And we want to grow together. We want to be too strong. tytnetwork.com/join. Let's do it.